Hello, Kansas City. Welcome to another fine day out there. I am Chris Odam, the excited one of the hosts now of this show that we've been calling Life After. Shout out to the other host, Catherine Zeke, who's been doing a great job and came on board and has been interviewing students who came from Southeast High School. Myself, most of my experience was at Paseo for 15, 16 years of teaching. And during that time, early on, I had a chance to meet a person I believe is now even a fellow educator, September Richard. So welcome, September, to Life After. Great to have you.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's explore this first question about the year that you walked Paseo Academy stage, and really, what do you remember about that year? What do you still value, or what did you take away from that experience?
This is my senior year.
Yeah.
So probably what I remember most is just preparing myself for life after high school. I could say it was like really smooth sailing because I didn't have to worry about taking as many courses. But I think the different programs that I was in, such as Upper Bound and JRTC and Young Life, kind of just helped guide that. And I knew exactly what I kind of knew what I wanted to do. So
wow,
I think that was probably the best experience that I had.
That's fun. And then as I interview people, that's either how it's going to feel. You're either going to have a pretty good idea or not really an idea, but don't worry, students, it comes to you as you get out there in the world. So your assumption about what you wanted to do, tell me, what did those programs help you decide that you wanted to do?
Yeah, so with Upper Bound, it was geared towards college, you going to college after high school. And so with that program, one of the things that we had to do while we were in there was apply for 50 scholarships. And then we had to apply for at least 10 to 15 different colleges, whether they were in state or out of state, but it truly helped me on making a decision on what I wanted to do. And we had an opportunity to go visit other colleges too. With JRTC, it was more with leadership and just understanding that, you're going to be making certain decisions in life. And whether those decisions are good or bad, you have consequences to them. But either way, you take responsibility for them and you try to do your best as you continue to lead on. And then with Young Life, it was just more about my faith and me just growing more in that area.
Very cool. All right. So 3 major important programs that you could mention that you made use of at that time that were available. So following up on that thinking, and you've kind of already alluded to it, right after this high school experience concludes, do you remember what that felt like? And then kind of what you started to do? What was your next move?
Yes. Yeah, actually, I remember. One thing that I am glad that I had an idea of what I wanted to do after high school, which is to go to college. And so I attended Penn Valley Community College. I had decided to go there full ride, didn't have to worry about it. And I went to UMKC and finished out getting my bachelor's. I also worked. Working was it was not an option. Mm-hmm. But my mom in our household was either, we were going to work or we were going to go to school. But in my case, I had to do both. Yeah. And then I eventually had gotten my own place. And then, just kind of my social life was just kind of hanging out with family and friends. And then maybe even hanging out with friends who were at the other colleges like MU, UCM, now it's called UCM, I don't know what's called now, UCM, and just kind of just hanging out. So that was life a little bit after high school.
Very cool. Tell me a little bit about your experience at Penn Valley. I know I've talked to a lot of students who found that was kind of the beginning and a way to kind of keep going, not take a break, but sounds like so what did you do there? Did you experiment with some things? Did it give you a chance to find what you're going to do at UMKC?
Yes, it actually did. I did experiment a few things because when you first go to college, you don't know exactly what you want to do or what you major in or what you want to major in. Some people do know, but for me, I really did not know. So I was able to just take my general courses. I was involved in like the different activities that was on campus, such as like maybe the basketball team, maybe, watching the cheer squad, maybe not necessarily debate, but it was what was called Impact. It was called Impact. It goes towards my faith again. So it just allowed me just to be involved in just different things that was there at Penn Valley, whatever they had to offer. The classes that I liked the most were my speech classes, and so they kind of led me to the degree that I had decided, or the major I decided to go to at UMKC.
Ooh, I love speech classes, and I loved teaching speech, and I loved including it as part of the goals that we had in my class whenever you took me. I'm a preacher's son, so man, it was a blast to know and recognize the other speakers in the room. Did you get any awareness of how you liked that when you were at Paseo?
Yeah, that's where I got the most
That's what I was
awareness
wondering.
was
Yeah,
at Purcell. Like,
yeah.
no, I didn't just go in and be like, oh, that's what it is. No, definitely at Purcell. Just like one thing that we have an opportunity to do is maybe like having a chance to to do different things. Like theater was one of the things that I had an opportunity to do, maybe be in a couple of plays. Even the coffee house was pretty cool. You had a chance to speak or share a poem or just be a part of that show. And then also just being a part of, like dance, you got to get on stage and perform. So, and all of them had to do with performance and talking and
Yeah.
speaking. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you got familiar with that territory more than some people, because not every high school's that kind of experience for 4 years in a row. Okay. So then take us to UMKC. I also went there. I've graduated there 3 times now. They have all my money. Shout out to the fantastic programs over there. I appreciate all that I've learned at UMKC. It's a great place right here in the middle of our town. So what did you start to take there, and then ultimately, I assume you have a degree from there. I think you said you did. And
Yes.
what is your degree, and I guess what led you down that path?
So my degree is in interpersonal communication. Once again, the class that I really liked just at Penn Valley, I took as many speech classes as I could. I took as many theater classes as I took as much as I could while I was there. But one day I just happened to go on a campus, and then you know, no such thing as like as much online. They had like this catalog booklet, and I was going through to try to figure out what I wanted to major in. And communication was it, but they had like 3 different programs. And for me, interpersonal communication was probably the best one for myself.
All right, so explain that to us. Pretend for a minute none of us knows what
What
interpersonal
interpersonal
communication.
communication is.
What does that actually mean?
So basically, you just know how to communicate well with others. So communication is not just you talking. It's verbal communication. It's your body language. It's like it's a number of things that play a part. You're not worrying about what you're just talking about, but how you're being received to others. How others are receiving what you're saying, your message. Sometimes your message don't even come across as nice or politely as others. Some take it offensively, so you just have to be mindful of those things. So you pay attention to the body language, you pay attention to what's going on around you. Your listening skills even pick up in, I think, in that major as well, because you begin to just you're not just hearing what someone is saying, but you're actually listening you're not just listening to what someone said, but you're actually hearing what they're saying, because sometimes they are saying something, it's coming out their mouth, but they are communicating something totally different, if that makes sense. So that's what I had gathered from that major in interpersonal communication. So it's really with other people.
Gotcha.
It's more social, more people, if that makes sense.
So you're knowing that because you checked out the catalog and you looked ahead. What kind of jobs does that lead toward when people have that degree?
Yeah, so what I have found that it can lead to whatever job you choose, because if you know how to communicate effectively, there's not an organization, there's not a corporation, there's not a place where they wouldn't necessarily they will accept you, because you like, hey, you know how to communicate effectively with others, and it doesn't matter where you're at. You like a chameleon, you kind of just know how to blend with organizations. However, though, it led me to teaching, which I mean, like, I absolutely love, I love the kiddos. Well, like, so just with me having I'm able to communicate with, in particular, teenagers or just even little young children, it doesn't matter. But I know how to communicate with young people probably more often than most, probably more than most do. I actually been called teenage whisperer, but it's just something I'm pretty good at.
I like it. So you can get across to people that whisperer would not necessarily translate, or some people would shut out the other voices and they can hear you. So man, that's special. That's so important, that enlightened state. Plus it's also something I remember hearing from other teachers of how big a reward it feels to know someone you taught that went into the profession themselves and carried on this great pursuit to help our world. And it's so important. I know I taught for 16 years. How long have you been teaching? Not comparing or anything, you know.
Yeah, no. So let's see, I think was like 09. So wow. What is this, 2020 now?
Wow.
No, it's probably like 2010. So probably okay. Probably 9, probably 8.
Wow. Probably 8 and what age group do you work with mostly?
So I mainly work with 9 through 12 graders.
And local in Kansas City. You don't have to say where, but I don't think it's for us, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's for y'all. It's local. Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, so you work for Kansas City Public Schools?
Absolutely. I was there at Penn not too long ago.
What?
So I was like a regular teacher in Hickman School District for maybe 7 years, and then I became a sub, and so now I'm like all over the Kansas City area.
I got you. So occasionally you see the ins and outs of our schools. Well, wonderful. Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so saying that, what's your next move? What are your goals going forward? Are you going to stay on this path? Are you going to stay subbing? Are you going to keep working toward having your own classroom? What do you want to do?
Yeah, so I like how you said that. So it's just me thinking outside the box. When you say your own classroom, yes, I'm gonna have like my own classroom. I'm gonna always educate. My goal, my vision, my passion is to make sure that I educate young people. This is just a great opportunity. But if I can educate young people about, you might want to have a plan before you enter out of high school. I mean, if you don't have a plan, then what is it that what's your passion? What is your desire? So you know what you're looking for. I mean, you can even go and work your way up in the workforce if you choose to. You can, go to college and continue to get your degrees until you figure, it's just a number of things. So my life, passion, and desire is just to educate young people as much as I can before leaving high school. So
you're right. You're so right. And a generational change kind of recently is that the record numbers of students, reports came out, I think today, Casey Star or something, that record number of students are waiting a little while before they go in, so that, again, they don't go in without a pragmatic plan, because it is very expensive. I would admit that I spent a year or so finding myself before I found my purpose, and that, boy, that's expensive and really kind of scary to be making all these decisions with so much pressure. And then you have the rest of your life to keep making decisions. It just feels like you have to make them all at once, right? So yeah, I can certainly remember that. Okay, well, fantastic. I'm so excited you're on this path and you're educating people and you're so passionate about it. I might have some people to introduce you to if you're interested after this interview, who I know are looking for educators right now, because we constantly need more and more people. So let's do this final question. Is there something you heard back in the day, in Paseo or before then or whatever, or something that you carry with you today that you think proves to be valuable advice to young people as they go out about their choices that they now have to meander? Is there something perhaps you have, some gem of wisdom you think we could take from you? Because you definitely seem confident in your plan. You seem very pleased with what you're doing. So that would matter so much to a young person. How do you do that? What do you think we got to do to get going where you're at?
So I would say be yourself. That's it. It doesn't require much. It doesn't require much to be you. Try not to be like no one else. You know why? Because everybody else is taken. So if you just be you and follow the path and the passion that you have for you, you'll be all right. Forget the naysayers, forget, the haters, forget family members who's like, no, whatever, the negativity, forget it all. You be you and you only.
Yeah. All right. I hear that all the way. I'm going to keep that going myself on this great day. And thank you, September, for being here with us today.
My
And
pleasure.
thank you, Kansas City, for taking some time to listen. And if you like these shows and these episodes, please reach out to Chris Odam, Odam at kcpublicschools.org. And I would certainly be excited to have you on as a guest, and you could tell your narrative about how you found your path. Remember, this show is an opportunity, students, to think about where you're going. It's also a chance to see that there's a lot of success that comes from the people who sit around us every day. And unfortunately, we may not hear all those stories quite enough in the world we live in. Too often we hear stories about how things did not work out. But I know full well, working in this district for so long, there are adequate stories to tell, plenty, a bounty of stories to tell about the successes that come from our schools. So, September, thank you for being on here.
You're
It's been
welcome.
really meaningful. Let's catch up some more about education. I think that'd be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And thanks a lot for listening today, Kansas City. We're signing off on Life After.